At what point does a gold project stop being interesting and start becoming genuinely scalable? Today, we're looking at drilling results that continue to expand both the size and continuity of a system and what that could mean as the program progresses. I'm joined once again by Mark Trevisol, President, CEO, and Chair of the Board at McFarland Lake Mining. Mark, welcome back to the watch list.
Thank you, Ricky, and always a pleasure to be chatting with you about our project.
Wow, it's lovely to hear. Thank you. Always a pleasure to have you. You've just reported another wide intercept, 136 meters at 0.67 grams per ton, and also extended a previously announced interval to over 208 meters. Given the consistency and scale we're now seeing, what do these results tell you about the overall drill program and the key geological characteristics seen here?
Yeah, well, there's a number of things that the stars are kind of being aligned from a geological point of view. As a geologist, as a explorer, you like to see the big, wide widths on intersections, and not only does that mean more metal, more gold, it also means that the mining is more cost effective. The mine recoveries are higher. You have less waste to deal with per ton of ore that you're extracting, so your efficiencies go up overall. I'm sure these intersections that we're announcing here are going to turn a few heads in the mining realm, because they're really world-class intersections. And you mentioned the continuity, always an important factor in developing an overall ore body and ensuring that you have consistency across the property. So those things are really great that we're seeing so far, and we're not even halfway through the drilling yet, so it's pretty exciting.
And as that picture becomes clearer, the focus naturally shifts to where you can build on that momentum. You've completed around 6,000 meters of a planned 13,000-meter program. What are the next strategic steps for McFarland in developing the Juby Gold project?
Yeah, well, I guess we've got to finish this drilling. Number one, we've said to our investors and to the world we'd like to add 1 million ounces by finishing this drilling at the end of this drilling. And I mean, the positive here is that these kinds of intersections, you get to that pretty quickly. So that's really nice to see. So I think that target is well within reach, and we might very well go beyond that. And then with that, we will update our 43-101 resource, and hope to have that done by summer, maybe early summer, later on in June or early July. And then in parallel, what we're doing right now is we're doing our environmental baseline study, which allows us to prepare for our bulk sample next year. So there's a number of strategic steps that are happening in parallel that are not only for this year's work, but for next year's, and then we'd like to also do a scoping study / PEA on the project once we get this resource updated. So a number of things we're working on.
So increasingly looking like a program focused on scale, where each round of drilling is not just adding ounces, but expanding the overall footprint of the system. Thank you so much for your time today, Mark.
All right, great to be with you, Ricky.
Once again, that is Mark Trevisol, President, CEO, and Chair of the Board at McFarland Lake Mining. For more on the Juby Gold project and the latest drilling results, visit mcfarlandlakemining.com. That's all for this episode of The Watch List. I'm Ricky Lee. Make good choices today.